All right, it is Georgia-Florida week, but of course, if you follow Georgia recruiting, you know that Kirby Smart and his staff never stop recruiting, and that's what this video is all about, be breaking down who are Georgia's top targets left remaining in the 2023 class, where they sit with those targets, who might be in Athens for the Tennessee game, and a lot more. So big time video. I'm excited to get these names out to you after a few days of reaching out, trying to gather some notes, some intel, some of the latest recruiting scoop for you. But before I dig into all that, have to talk about Doordash for a minute. For a limited time, our listeners over at DAWGSTRUCTION can get 50% off of a $20 value and $0 delivery fees when you download the Doordash app and enter code DAWG, D-A-W-G. That's 50% off a $20 value, $0 delivery fees when you download the Doordash app in the App Store and enter code DAWG. Don't forget, that's code DAWG for 50% off a $20 value, $0 delivery fees with DoorDash. Back to recruiting. Georgia has the number 2 class in the country right now. They are absolutely rolling. They got 22 current commitments. Let's start on offense, break down where Georgia is going to go on that side of the ball before I talk about a lot of major defensive targets that are still left on the board. At quarterback, still don't think Georgia is going to take a quarterback in the 23 class. They have moved on to 24, where I think they will take 2 quarterbacks. They've got one on board, and Ryan Puglisi. He is outstanding and a guy that I think Georgia fans are going to really like. But in the 23 class, don't think they are going to take another one. At running back, they've got Roderick Robinson on board, 4-star from San Diego. Looks like they want to take another running back. They actually offered one this morning, Jeremiah Cobb, a current Auburn Tiger commitment, plays for one of the top 4A programs in Alabama, Montgomery Catholic. Has rushed for 2,000 yards as a sophomore, 2,000 yards as a junior, and this year he has 1,200 yards so far, rushing for 12 yards a carry, 7 touchdowns. The guy can play, 5'11", 185 pounds. He's a smooth runner, breaks a lot of tackles, and he is one of Auburn's biggest commitments Georgia offered this morning. We'll see if Dell McGee continues to push there. Jordan Louis is another guy, an in-state guy at a Meadow Creek High School to keep an eye on as well. So it does look like they want to take 2 running backs. And with the new offer to Jeremiah Cobb, we'll see if they can get him on board this fall. If they do, you got to put him on flip watch, in my opinion. So definitely a guy to keep an eye on at wide receiver. They've got 3 on board, Yazid Haynes, Tyler Williams, Raymond Cottrell. They want to add one more. And the guy that I've been hearing about a little more recently is DeAndre Moore Jr. out of St. John Bosco in California. Used to play at Desert Pines, from what I was told. One of his old coaches there, David Hill, who coached Darnell Washington out in Las Vegas. He is on Georgia staff as a support staff member, helping out with recruiting and doing a little bit more there. So there is a connection there, and I think that Georgia has a real chance with Moore, who's a Louisville commitment. He's a top 120 player in the country, one of the top wide receivers in California. They throw the ball. They don't throw the ball as much. I meant to say they run the ball often, but he does have 7 touchdowns. Tough, physical kid who can go and grab you a jump ball when he needs to. So runs well. He's got some muscle on his frame. He's an excellent looking prospect. I don't think he's going to sign with Louisville. If Georgia pushes, he's definitely another guy in California to keep an eye on. At tight end, listen, they've got 2 on board already. Pierce Sperlin, Lawson Lucky, 2 of the best in the South. 2 guys who can catch passes with the best of them. But Todd Hartley still is recruiting Deuce Robinson. He's the number 1 tight end in the country at Pinnacle High School in Phoenix, Arizona. He's massive, 6'6", 225 pounds. There's a big story on him over on Dog Post. I spoke with the offensive coordinator over there to get some thoughts on Deuce Robinson, what he can do, what makes him the best tight end in the country. And he gave me a lot of great quotes. So if you're looking for the latest on Deuce and his recruitment specifically, head over to Dog Post. There's a big story over there, and it's free. So go check it out. Todd Hartley, during Georgia's bye week last weekend, flew out there to watch him play on Friday. So that tells you all you need to know. They're not going to waste their time. When they go see a kid, he's important. And Todd Hartley flew out to Phoenix to watch him play on Friday night. A lot of people in the area still think Southern Cal's in a really good spot, but I think this could come down to Southern Cal and Georgia. I'm not ruling Todd Hartley out at all until this kid makes a final decision. He was in town for the Kent State game, and that wasn't his first visit to Athens either. I believe he was back there in the summer, but I don't have an exact date written down. I wish I did write that down before starting this video, but he's a guy that Georgia fans need to know about. They would absolutely make room for him. He can do more than just be a traditional tight end. They can flex him out wide. His ability to block on the perimeter is going to, it's something that Todd Monken and Todd Hartley love. He can grab a jump ball in the end zone. So he's a guy who, is listed as a tight end, but he can play a lot of other positions and they can do a lot of different things with him. So yes, they have 2 tight ends on board, but they're going to make room for a guy like Deuce Robinson. Definitely a guy to keep an eye on. They got 4 offensive linemen on the board right now. There's no one specifically that I'm aware of that they're really pushing for to make it fit. So as far as the offense is concerned, that's kind of where I see things standing. Let's go to the defense. They've got 5 defensive backs. I'm not sure they're going to add one more. Very talented group. They've got 3 inside linebackers, C.J. Allen, Troy Bowles, Raylan Wilson, who I'm going to have a story on later this week. So they're good there. But they need to add more defensive linemen, maybe another outside linebacker edge guy. The first guy I want to talk about, Sam Mpemba. He was in Tennessee for an official visit last weekend, spoke with some sources who covered Tennessee this morning. They still think that Georgia is the team to beat. 6'4", 255, was in town for the Samford game, I believe. He was there for Auburn, was in Missouri to watch Georgia take on Missouri and Columbia. St. Louis native who plays at IMG Academy. Number 23 nationally, number 4 edge defender on the On3 consensus. He's a big-time player, long, athletic, edge rusher. He's seen Georgia play multiple times now. I believe he'll be back in town for the Tennessee game. I've said that Georgia leads here for a while now and still believe that. He's a 5-star kid and a guy that would really help Georgia if they want to get to that number 1 class ranking, which they have a real shot at. Got to get Sam Mpemba to do it, though. Damon Wilson, not Damon, Damon Wilson, another edge defender, ranked right behind Sam Mpemba on the On3 rankings that they've got over there. Took his official visit for the Auburn game. Still think Ohio State is the team to beat. Georgia gave him a lot to think about from what I heard behind the scenes. Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, I think are the top 3. They're the 3 best programs in college football, and I think that's going to be basically the final 3 for Damon Wilson. I think Ohio State has the edge for him. Not completely ruling Georgia out, though. Devin Hobbs, 4-star on the On3 consensus, but they have him specifically as a 5-star. 6'4", 270 pounds, quick off the ball, another good athlete for his size, but he's versatile. He can play multiple positions along the defensive line. Took his official visit, or will take his official visit for the Tennessee game, but I'm hearing that Georgia is behind Tennessee and Alabama right now. So I think they're running third for Devin Hobbs, a guy who they would love to add. I think he absolutely has a spot in this class. We'll see if things change after his official visit for the Tennessee game. But right now, I do think Georgia leads Tennessee and Alabama for him. Arguably the best player in North Carolina. He's a guy whose ranking has just continued to, climb in the last several months. A lot of people really, really like him, but I think Georgia has some work to do there. But a guy who I don't think they have a lot to really worry about is Jordan Hall. Now, he is coming off an official visit to Alabama. I think the Tide gave him a lot to think about, but still hearing Georgia for, the big 6'4", 300-pound interior defensive lineman out of Jacksonville, Westside High School, was in town for the Auburn game. Saw him spending a lot of time with commitments, other targets, coaches. It was clear just watching him during pregame that he is a massive target for Trey Scott and the Georgia staff. I think Georgia leads for him. I believe he might be back for the Tennessee game. Just need to confirm that with him. It wouldn't surprise me if he made it back there. But, top 100 player in the country, I think. The On3 consensus has him at 103. I think most people have him rising in the rankings. I think he's a top 100 kid. He has a lean frame for 310 pounds, if that's correct. He sure doesn't look it. He is a tall guy. He's got a lean frame. He probably has the ability to put on even more muscle and mass. But he's a game wrecker. Doesn't play for a great program in Jacksonville, but he's productive, and I think he certainly looks the part. The Georgia staff loves him, and I think Georgia leads for him right now. I think he would be a nice complement, a nice duo with Jamal Jarrett, another bigger nose guard type playing next to him. They've got Gabe Harris, 6'3", about 250, coming off the edge. Edge, outside linebacker type, whatever you want to call that. I think he'll be standing up occasionally with his hand on the ground. So one more guy on the edge, kind of outside linebacker, defensive end type, one more interior. Dude they've got on board right now, Seven Cloud. Don't think he's going to end up in this class. I've said that for a while now, just kind of waiting for him to publicly announce that he's opening things up. So there's still a handful of spots left on the defensive line and a lot of major targets still out there. So if Trey Scott closes as well as I think he can, Georgia can absolutely push for that #1 class ranking in this class. It could be one of the best defensive classes that Kirby Smart has signed. A lot of great players still out there, and I think Georgia is going to close strong. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. I'll try to get to those, but if you want a quicker answer, go over to Dog Post. I'm answering questions there all the time. We've got some great stories up right now. A lot of Georgia, Florida stuff, a lot of recruiting stuff, and I should have a lot more when recruits flock to Athens for the Tennessee game on November 5th. So make sure you're staying tuned to Dog Post and watching all of our videos. We try to do a great job for y'all, and we hope that y'all are enjoying these videos. Thanks for watching this one. Stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I will see you over on Dog Post.